Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, shit. All right. Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to be careful with like who you trust, because there's a snake in everyone. And a physic, he says, a people in masks cannot be trusted, which means for like there's many ways that like I agree with this quote, and one example is you don't know the real person if they have on a mask, because they could say, like, if they like have on a mask, like they'll tell you one thing and then do another. And then another example is like you don't know, like like they could be okay. They could say they have cash and be like the brokest guy on the on the corner, I guess. And then another like example is when you have like a mask on, you can hide your true feelings and like come off as not caring, when if someone like tells you they hate you, and you be like, oh, it's fine. But if you like take off that mask, you'll see the hurt and the hurt and anger, and then in conclusion, you have to like know the real person to trust. It takes time to actually get to know the person, because everyone has a wall at some point in like the relationship, I guess. Either it's a friend, a girlfriend, a parent, a family. Like with anything, there's always a wall and a mask to keep you from not being hurt. And that's my speech. Can I do a prepared speech for extra credit? Please.
Not at the moment.
Then she'll set the ball really low.
How do you see like I know she gets better grades than us. Or she gets average grades than us. Really?
I bet I have close to a grade in this class to you, in terms of quizzes and tests.
I'm pretty sure I have a solid B in this class.
Oh, that
The test.
oh, it's the test.
You keep that. That's your souvenir for the day.
Oh, great.
Okay. The opening is okay. I think you've got a nice general statement about the topic, so you do come up with a thesis. It sounded like you had an idea for a structure, but it wasn't very clear. And in the body of the speech, it really feels sometimes like you're wandering around. I think there's an idea for a pattern that's going on here, but it doesn't become clear. So I think you need to work a little bit more on that, especially at the beginning of the speech. That would fix some problems later on. Then if you do get lost, you've already got something that you can come back to. On the presentation issues, your voice is a little bit quieter than I think you want to be. You want to have a little bit more command and control over what's going on, and you need to have a wider range of inflection in your voice while you're speaking also. There are some places where you get stuck on a couple of words or phrases, and so it's not as fluent as it might be. I thought you, in your gestures, you had some pretty good indicators, although sometimes the indicators end up being, tapping on the podium, which is a little distracting, and it feels like you're hiding behind the podium. You don't really have notes, so I don't know what you're doing with the podium other than hiding behind it. So that becomes, I think, a little bit problematic. You have a tendency to look down as you're thinking instead of trying to engage the audience. And I know that you're thinking while you're talking. That's one of the things that people inevitably need to do during an impromptu speech, but you don't want to disengage from the audience while you're doing that. You have to try and stay engaged, and I didn't think that you always did that. At the end, you do kind of come back to the topic, and you try to engage us a little bit on the subject. So I thought that was not a bad idea also. But as I said, it sometimes felt like you're just sort of saying the same thing again and again, and you don't really have an end point that you're working toward. It just, you're wandering on that subject, and I think you need to be a little bit more focused. And some of that's indicated by the presentation issues. So nothing disastrous, but a few things that definitely need a little bit more work. All right, thank you.